Yo, this the Prof. Yo, check this out, man. I've had this on my mind for quite some time. I just never really addressed it or really went in depth speaking about it. But, for quite some time, I guess you got to say for some years, I've always kind of, had this in the back of my mind, tripping off the fact of what things have been said pertaining to NWA and their impact upon the music industry and there being some form of conspiracy or plot behind indoctrinating them into or the messages and the words that they say through their music, you know, indoctrinating that into the mental psyche of black people or black youth so that they can be less conscientious and help fuel the prison industry, a prison industrial complex, and at the same time being used to suppress and downplay the conscious or the more conscious messages of rap groups or rappers from the East Coast. And, you know, I've always looked at this and I'm saying, wait a minute, do you really believe that Ice Cube, Easy E, Dr. Dre, DJ Yella, MC Ren really sat down with Jerry Heller and they came up with an idea where they said, hey, let's take that LA gang culture mentality, put it out there, let's really promote it to the extreme so that it can basically, dumb down the youth consciousness of, of the black youth's consciousness of wanting to better themselves or knowing who they are as a people. And what we're going to do, we're going to compensate you guys with money, cars, jewelry, big houses, luxurious ways of life and living. And that'll be your compensation for it. And so we just want you guys to get out there and make as many killing gangster records, fuck bitches, whole trap, just every fucking song, just do it purposely so that it can just be bashed in or put into the minds of the minorities and the black youth in all the hoods of America so that then they can basically all turn criminal and be debaucherous and then we can just come and round them all up and then just help fuel our prison industrial complex and we can all just make money and stuff. And that's what the whole aspect of what NWA and gangster rap was really all for. It was just for that. You know what, man? It's like I'm originally from Long Beach, California, raised in Oakland, California, and I've been going back and forth my whole life. So truthfully, I consider myself like, I'm just a California kid, period. Because not just a Bay Area kid, not just an Oakland kid or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Because my life has been spent like going back and forth from Southern California, Northern California, and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a culture. Just like how people live in there's a Bay Area culture that everybody just used to because this is how people live in the Bay Area. And there's a LA gang culture. That people basically live. Being down there. So just like outside of that, anywhere there's cultures wherever. If you're from Texas, Dallas, Texas, there's a culture that people live in Dallas, Texas. There's a culture that people live in New Orleans. There's a culture that people live in Florida or whatever. So if a rapper all of a sudden comes out and says, "Yo, this is how we get down. This is what we do. This is how we live in. This is what I see," and they just like rappers. One thing about rappers talk about what they know. They talk about what they experience. They talk about their lives. That's one thing that any rapper basically going to talk about. I don't give a damn if you're from Seattle, Washington. You're going to talk about things that you experienced and lived through and dealt with being somebody growing up in Seattle, Washington. If you're from Seattle, Washington, you can't talk about what a dude did or what a guy's lifestyle is in Baltimore or in Georgia because he's not from there. He doesn't know. So we learn different things, how people live and how we live. Like hip hop. has been the one true music that has contributed to the understanding of different background, cultures, environment, ways of living and stuff throughout America, where you are able to be able to kind of tap in to the mental mind state or consciousness of individuals from different various places around this fucking country. You've been able to do that through rap music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, there's a lot of people on the East Coast never have traveled to the West Coast. So when they hear gangster rap and they see what's so-called gangster rap, that name in itself, that's one of those buzzwords and stuff that the media uses. You know what I'm saying? Say, because when you think gangster rap, that right there is supposed to give you a sense of negative. You know what I'm saying? Give you a negative mindset when you hear that type of music. Because why? There's a sense of political consciousness that even comes from gangster rap. It's just the people speaking out about, the police brutality and stuff that goes on. When you live in a place like that, man, where it's like gang culture, your mentality can get to a point where you say, yo, if I gotta be here, I gotta be able to survive. So, just like Tupac said, it's hard to act like an angel in a room full of devils. In order to survive, when you live in certain environments and neighborhoods and stuff that's bad like that, that's just ran over by criminals, which is also allowed to be that way by the government. Because why? That helps kill off people. That's why it is like it is. So people gotta, when you form your thoughts, you gotta really sometimes know who the fuck you really should be blaming. A lot of times the smaller guy, the little guy, the low man in the totem pole is just like customer service at a store. When you are in that position, the reason why you are in that position is to be the person to deflect all the, frustrations and mental anguish that the customers have so that the owner doesn't have to fucking deal with that shit. That's what customer service really is for. You know what I'm saying? It's like, shit. They're just there to meet you, greet you, welcome to so-and-so, yes, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You ask them about, do you know about this and that? What do they always do? They always got to direct you somewhere. They might not even know too much of how the intricacies of that store really even fucking work. They're just there, you have people just hired as what they call greeters. That's to deflect, from the people who really are the ones who you really should be directing your mental anguish towards, whatever. The manager, or what I'm saying, the overall store manager, or maybe the owner. You know what I'm saying? That's the small. So when you think about, you say these rappers or this rap group, they're the cause. Them, their music, they doing this, blah blah blah. It's like NWA, Eazy, and any gangster rapper from the period of the late '80s going into towards the mid to late '90s. Those guys were basically talking about um, where they came from, the mentality of people where they came from, and what happened was that music just became popular. You know, because it was like things that a lot of black people and minorities could, as far as youngsters, they could identify with. Because while you might have the older people, the next older generation who are more conscious about things because they were older, the youngsters are looking at it like, yo, um, you saying all that, but I can't even go to the corner liquor store without a gun. So I might get blasted. I can't go get, that's just the true reality. While you talking about how we need to be more astute and we need to basically carry ourselves more dignified, and we need to have more of a sense of pride and stuff in ourselves, you know, and put on suit and ties and stuff like that. Like you rather more so adhere being good to imagery and projection of certain imagery that will weigh upon the consciousness of people when they see us, making them think that we are more intelligent or more to be respected because of if we put on a certain type uniform, if we carry ourselves in a certain type way, and you're so caught up with imagery and projection of that imagery to appeal to the masses or certain people or the powers that be senses so that they can respect us more and figure that we'll get more further that way, you know, the kids, the youth are saying, and I guess that sound good, but they figure the reality is that people are down here shooting. The reality is that if I got on the wrong color, I can get blasted. The reality is because of my color, my skin complexion, I can get pulled up by the police for no reason and possibly